Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVIDIA Daily Analysis. NVIDIA and overall stock market continues to go down. Let's discuss what should we expect next week using technical charts and economic data. Starting with the daily summary, NVIDIA opened at 103.76. It made a high 108.72. It made a low 101.37 and it closed at 107.27. That is 1.78% down. It looks like overall the situation is not good, not just Nvidia, overall stock market and the tech stocks especially have been under pressure since past few days. And it looks like that in the future this situation is not going to improve anytime soon. The reason for saying this is the job data for today. Let's take a look. So this data got published this morning. This is about US non-farm payroll. As I showed you yesterday, the forecast was 176K, but the actual came this morning 114K. That's a big decline from the last month. Last month was 206K. So that tells that very fewer jobs or people employed last month in the non-farm industry. And I guess this number is the lowest in last 2 years. Let's take a look. So now you see that the last time we saw this number below 100K was in February 2021. So more than 3 years, we haven't seen the non-farm payrolls data that low. And let's take a look unemployment rate as well. You see that the actuals came higher than the forecast, 4.3% versus 4.1%. So that tells that unemployment rate went down further than the forecast, and that's also not a good sign. So both of these data are suggesting that overall job market is not good and it can break any time. So that's why I see more and more analysis or news about recession and these job data probably adding fuel to this rumor. And in my opinion, probably market has been reacting since past few days or week. Probably some big players or the investor already knew that what's coming. So, anyways, nothing much we can do at this point. Looks to me that situation is not under control, and this situation is not going to improve until Fed start doing the rate cut. And market also thinking that they are a little late in doing the rate cut. I was looking at the ECB, the European market, and they started doing the rate cut already. So let's take a look. You see that ECB has done some rate cut in June sometime this year, and more rate cut is expected the rest of the year. But when you talk about Fed, we haven't done any rate cut so far, and the expectation is September. I guess if Fed does not do the rate cut in September, then market can go further down. And you take a look, overall geopolitical scenario is also not good. We do not know what Iran can do to retaliate. So lots of uncertainty in the geopolitical scenario as well. That's impacting the international market also. And you probably know that Intel has reported their earnings. They missed their numbers, and Intel stock is down about 26%. And they're also talking about layoff about 15% workforce. And we'll see more and more layoffs from the tech companies because overall job market is not going in the right direction. Now we have to think, are we heading towards the hard landing versus soft landing? Now let's take a look the forward P for Nvidia. Nvidia forward P at this point is 37, much lower than the last 6 or 7 weeks of average. Palantir continues to go down as well, 74. SMCI 20, AMD is 38.18. All of these four forward P has gone down since last week closing. I have my shares invested in Nvidia, SMCI, and Amazon. I'm probably down about 25% at this point, and I expect that I would be further down in next few days. So things are overall very depressing for me and probably for other investors as well. We might see more drops coming, but overall, this situation should not last for too long, not a year or two as we experienced in 2008. Now, let's take a look at a weekly candlestick chart for NVIDIA. At this point, you see that last 3 weeks in a row, NVIDIA did negative closing, similar to this one, and it started going up. But this scenario is different. I'm not expecting any big increase or even upside in the next week because after the job report this morning, things look much worse. Now, let's take a look historical data for NVIDIA. You see cumulative percentage change for NVIDIA for this quarter on your screen. So at this point, we are 15.8% up since the last earnings. So it continues to go down. The third month after earnings, historically, we saw that we got some upside, but so far we haven't seen any sustainable upward movement before the earnings so far. So I guess the scenario in this quarter is unique. The last quarter, the variable of the job market and overall recession and geopolitical scenario was not there. So we should consider the price change data for this quarter a unique scenario, you know. So that's why sometimes, historical data may not suggest what's going to happen in the future. Now let's take a look at Fibonacci levels. You see 90-day hourly interval chart for NVIDIA. I kept the same highest and the lowest point just to be consistent. As we noted yesterday and day before yesterday, the next level of support was 100. At this point, NVIDIA was not able to break this level. NVIDIA tried multiple times, including today. On the higher side, we have the resistance at 108 and then 115. So it will be interesting to see if NVIDIA can break 100.6 level sometime early next week. And after that, we have this level 89.7, and that's a very strong level. That translates to 23% retracement based on the medium term outlook. Overall, starting from 0 to the highest point, that is 140.56, this translates to 38% Fibonacci retracement. And that should be a very strong support level. And that is my stop loss at this point. Now let's take a look at some news regarding Nvidia. Very first one is regarding Amazon. So Amazon got the big hit today. As you know that Amazon released the earnings yesterday after hours, and they were able to beat the earnings, but they missed on the revenue. Let's take a look. You see that 23% earnings beat, but revenue 0.52% miss. So this also tells that even if they got a good margin, but overall the business is not expanding as it should be. So this also tells that overall tech industry is supposed to be under pressure or in the cautious mode for the next quarter as well. Because more and more companies I see that either missing the revenue or beating the revenue with a very narrow margin. So most of the news as I see talking about overall market going down. So we're not going to go into that detail. But this one that says that Mr. Powell has a new catalyst for cutting rates after putting goodies on the table. So yeah, that's what I said. The ball is Mr. Powell's court. If he want to wait until the job market breaks and then he would intervene, or he would intervene before that happens? We'll have to see. So this one that says that Elliott says Nvidia is in a bubble and AI is overhyped. Financial Times. When the market is under pressure, we start seeing this kind of analysis that says AI bubble. And one thing we know that, right? Nvidia and other AI stock had gone up in just a short amount of time, probably just 6 months or 1 year, right? So there was some correction due about 20 or 25%. Nothing much to talk about. The news today all looks similar. Let's take a look other AI stocks overall. You see that highest negative change is in Amazon, that is 8.8%, and then SMCI, that is 7%. Only Apple was positive today on my watch list. SMCI is another stock that is giving me stress at this point. I have SMCI bought. My break even is about 840. But I'm not sure where should I put the stop loss. So I'm waiting for the earnings on August the 5th and try to come up with the price projection for SMCI probably tomorrow. And in terms of the economic data, not much economic data is due next week. So almost quiet Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and also Friday. So next important data is probably in the following week, that is CPI and PPI, Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's all about NVIDIA analysis and assessment for early next week. I'm sorry my energy level was down today. As you see, my portfolio is getting more losses every day. It's a tough time. I guess most of you will be in the same situation. I hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more tomorrow. Take care.